Hello and welcome. This is Notibot Yenji. Tonight, we bring you the latest developments in the escalating crisis between Iran and the United States. U.S. President Donald Trump has vowed to de-escalate tensions, but warns of a possible ground invasion, while Iran has taken a hardline stance, claiming control over the Strait of Hormuz. We'll also hear from the UK's Labour leader, Keir Starmer, and explore the growing concerns about a potential U.S. Iran war. We'll also take a closer look at Pakistan's role in brokering talks and the impact on U.S. military operations. Following a surge in tensions between the U.S. and Iran, President Trump has hinted at a potential breakthrough in the ongoing nuclear deal negotiations. U.S. President Donald Trump has stated that a deal could be reached with Iran soon, following a meeting with senior officials in the Middle East. However, Iranian officials have warned that any U.S. ground invasion of the country would be met with severe retaliation. The tensions have been escalating since the U.S. withdrew from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, nuclear ground invasion of the country. Zarif said that Iran would resist any attempt to invade its territory, and that the U.S. would face unprecedented consequences. The warning comes as the U.S. has increased its military presence in the Middle East, with the deployment of additional troops and military equipment to the region. The move is seen as a response to Iran's support for proxy forces in the region, including in Syria and Yemen. The situation is sensitive, with the U.S. and Iran having a complex history of tensions and conflict. Any further escalation could lead to a wider conflict in the region, drawing in other countries and potentially sparking a global crisis. The situation is also a major concern for European powers, which have historically maintained good relations with both the U.S. and Iran. The EU has called for calm and restraint, urging both sides to engage in dialogue and find a peaceful solution. The deal, if one is reached, is expected to be a major breakthrough in the negotiations, which have been ongoing for months. The talks are focused on issues such as Iran's nuclear program and the lifting of economic sanctions. With tensions escalating, Iran's military presence in the region has reached a critical juncture, leaving the future of global energy trade hanging in the balance. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that Iran has agreed to let 20 ships through the Strait of Hormuz, a vital waterway connecting the Gulf to the open sea. This move has been hailed by Trump as a sign that talks with Tehran are moving forward. However, analysts argue that this agreement may not be as significant as claimed. Iran has, in fact, maintained control over the strait, a vital shipping route, and has been instrumental in negotiating its terms. Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, has issued a statement confirming that Iranian forces will continue to control the strait, and that any new agreement is subject to Iran's approval. Trump's statements on the issue have also raised concerns about the potential for U.S. military action, including the possible takeover of Kharg Island, a strategic location in the Persian Gulf. The U.S. has been building up its military presence in the region, sparking concerns about the possibility of ground operations. The situation highlights the complex and sensitive nature of U.S.-Iran relations. While some see Trump's announcement as a positive step, others believe that Iran's control over the strait ensures its sovereignty and ability to dictate terms. The agreement may be a temporary reprieve, and the underlying tensions between the two nations remain unresolved. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical choke point, and any disruption to its flow could have significant economic and strategic implications. The situation remains fluid, and its implications are far from clear. Following a recent diplomatic row with Iran, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's government is facing mounting pressure on its stance towards potential military intervention. Good evening, I'm your name, and this is a recap of the latest news from around the world. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has ruled out deploying troops to Iran, saying the UK will not be dragged into the ongoing conflict. Starmer made the statement in a televised address, emphasizing that the UK's priority is to protect British lives and interests. The situation in Iran has been escalating in recent weeks, with the UK and other Western countries imposing sanctions on Iran's oil exports and military personnel. In response, Iran's military has been on high alert, and there have been reports of attacks on oil tankers in the region. The UK has been working with other countries to try and reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a vital shipping lane that connects the Middle East to Europe. The strait has been closed several times in recent years due to tensions in the region, and its closure would have significant economic implications for the global economy. Starmer's statement is seen as a diplomatic effort to reassure allies and reassure the public that the UK is not taking sides in the conflict. The UK government has also been working with other countries to develop a joint response to the crisis, but Starmer's statement suggests that a military intervention is not currently on the table. Position on Iran likely to be watched closely by other nations. Starmer's statement is a clear indication of the government's priorities in the region. Following a dramatic escalation in tensions between the U.S. and Iran, Donald Trump has made a shocking and ominous threat towards a specific region. Good evening. I'm your name, and this is your news recap. Tonight, we're following a developing story that sent shockwaves across the Middle East. U.S. President Donald Trump has issued a threat against Iran, warning that he will obliterate the country's energy infrastructure if Tehran doesn't reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman, and it's a crucial passage for international oil shipments. Iran, which has long been accused of threatening the strait's safety, has blockaded it for the past year, citing concerns over U.S. military presence in the region. Trump's threat was made on social media, where he claimed that great progress has been made in negotiations with Iran, but warned that if the Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants, oil wells, and Kharg Island. The implications of this threat are severe, and Iran's leaders have already condemned it as a clear threat. The international community has also spoken out, with the European Union's foreign policy chief, Josep Borrell, calling the threat unacceptable. This escalation of tensions between the U.S. and Iran is a worrying development, and one that could have far-reaching consequences for global oil supplies and regional stability. We'll continue to monitor the situation and bring you updates as more information becomes available. That's all for now. As tensions between the U.S. and Iran continue to escalate, a key diplomatic opportunity is set to unfold in a major South Asian nation. Pakistan is set to host U.S. Iran talks soon, according to a report by CBS News World. The talks are seen as a significant development in the complex conflict between the two nations. In a related development, Iran has restored electricity in parts of its capital, Tehran, and nearby areas after strikes damaged power grids. The Deputy Energy Minister, Mostafa Rajabi Mashhadi, confirmed that the power grid in the provinces of Alborz and Tehran sustained damage but has since been resolved. In another region, Israel has decided to allow the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem, Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa, to access Christianity's holiest site, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, after widespread international condemnation. The church had been closed to him due to security concerns, citing a ban on gatherings in synagogues, churches, and mosques during the ongoing war with Iran. However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has since reversed the decision, stating that Pizzaballa will receive full and immediate access to the church. The incident at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre has significant implications for the global Christian community. The Latin Patriarchate described the incident as a grave precedent that disregards the sensibilities of Christians worldwide. The Church of the Holy Sepulchre is considered one of the most sacred sites in Christianity, and its closure has sparked concerns about the erosion of Christian rights and freedoms in the region. The U.S.-Iran talks, which are set to take place in Pakistan, are also closely watched as a potential route to de-escalating tensions between the two nations. As tensions escalate in the Middle East, the U.S. is facing a growing crisis over the rapid depletion of its military arsenal in support of its allies. The U.S. war in Iran is depleting stocks of sophisticated weapons systems, raising concerns from Ukraine to Taiwan. Since a wave of military strikes from the U.S. and Israel killed Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the Islamic Republic has retaliated with ballistic missile strikes targeting Israel, U.S. installations in the region, and several Middle Eastern countries hosting U.S. military bases. The U.S. military has deployed complex and expensive systems to defend against incoming supersonic warheads. These defenses have been largely effective, but some have gotten through, killing 6 U.S. service members since Saturday. The bleeding of those weapons systems has implications beyond the immediate Middle East theater of war. Analysts and lawmakers are worried that the sudden depletion of defensive weapons is making it harder to credibly project U.S. power against Russia in Ukraine and in the Pacific against China. Senator Richard Blumenthal, a Connecticut Democrat, expressed concerns about Ukraine, stating that limited resources and supplies will put the country in a difficult position. The issue is particularly relevant in light of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, where the U.S. is providing military aid to the government. The depletion of defensive weapons could compromise the effectiveness of this aid. Additionally, the U.S. is also concerned about the growing military presence of China in the Pacific, where the U.S. has been deploying advanced defensive systems. The depletion of these systems could give China a strategic advantage in the region. That's all for today's news recap. Thank you for watching. We'll continue to bring you updates on the latest developments in the Middle East and beyond. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for the latest news and analysis. Stay informed, stay up to date. We'll see you in the next video.